at the Thieves' Den.
The scouts confirm the rumors. The Rosellan village really is deserted.
Can't believe the Wolforts actually handed him over to Hyzant. Those heartless bastards!
Well, now the village is ours for the searching. We could take our time finding that treasure.
Don't tell me you actually believe there's treasure there, Pa. It matches the book, but still.
Of course I believe it. That book came from the archives themselves. No doubt we're gonna find something incredible there. Then we can wash our hands of this whole business.
You mean, give up thieving? That's crazy talk, Pa. Whatever happened to your pride as a bandit? Loot's just a measure to even greater treasure. Ain't that what you always say?
It used to be, but Norzelia's changing. There's fighting wherever you look, and we shouldn't be taking risks we don't have to. Do you understand, Trish?
I understand, all right. You're nothing but a coward, Pa. I don't care if you give up. I'll become an even greater bandit all on my own.
Fine. Have it your way then, you fool.
I don't need your permission.
Boss, are you really gonna let her walk away like that?
I'd tell her she reminds me of someone, but I doubt she'd listen. First, we gotta find that treasure. Let's make for the Rosellan village.
The members of House Wolffort, having earned momentary respite after reclaiming the capital, decide to go their own ways. Roland remains in the capital to deal with his political opponents. Benedict returns to Castle Wolffort to visit the ailing Lord Simon. And Serenoa and Frederica, hearing reports of thieves in the deserted Rosellan village, head over to investigate.
Chapter 15, Part 2, In the Wake of a Dream. Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that beginning part because there may have been some technical issues. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden I did one update on my computer and now everything's crapping out. Anyway, the Rosellan village, that looks like it's the only thing here. I don't even know if we can see Benedict or anyone in the party anymore. Nope. Like, having Roland out is not something I'm going to shed any tears over, but, Benedict means we do lose our buffer. As a result, we're going to need to try to adapt a little bit. Kind of tempted to put more points into quarantine because I really do think that TP on ice thing, you can turn some of your enemies' ice against them, and the only drawback is you have to spend one turn setting up your ice to use unless the enemy sets it up for you, or you have to just charge in there or something. Like, there are ways. But in case you're wondering, I also went this route because you get one of the best range characters in the game. So yes, I knew where to find the character, and that's why we're here. So at the Rosellan village, having heard rumors of bandits, Sereno and the others head to the desolate Rosellan village.
It appears the bandits have yet to pillage this place.
Let's look around, just to be sure.
We cannot let harm come to this village. Let us find out whether these rumors of bandits were true or not. We looked inside the house, but everything seems untouched. Good, that means we can pillage it first. So we got 2 spices, an endurance earring. So that gives you the Eridor effect. Large thunderstones. In case you're wondering, Medina is meant to launch those stones as her offensive potential. It's just, since I haven't needed them yet, I haven't used them. I've got to do something about those bandits so those poor Roselle have a home to return to. Yes, we'll just say those spices went bad and we took the liberty of throwing it out for them. I don't know if they'll buy it, but it won't hurt to try. Two cure-all pellets. Money. Panacea pellet. I think that's the remedy of the game. A little bit of extra money. So I should point out it's going to be a little harder to defend this place without Benedict because I won't have the bulwarks around like last time. There's no one here because of us. When I think about it, perhaps Silvio was just as desperate as us. Yeah, where is his body? Did the vultures get it already? So I was looking for more doors that we can use to go into places, but it looks like there's only 2 indoor spots here. I don't think I've ever seen Frederica so sad before. Could you speak to her, Lord Serenoa? Perhaps you could cheer her up. So the 3 choices are, I haven't any words to console her, I'm afraid. I believe you could do a better job than I. Or, I understand how she feels. Seeing the village like this brings a pain to my heart as well. And finally, nothing I say will bring the Roselle back here. We must act, and quickly. You're right, my lord. No amount of consolation will change the reality before our eyes. We must live with the consequences of our actions. Do what we can going forward. Dang it. She hasn't said a word since we arrived. Perhaps I should say something. So the 3 choices are the real scumbag one. On second thought, perhaps I should leave her be. Or, we should seal the windows and doors later, to prevent both thieves and beasts from entering. Or finally, Jerome put his faith in us. We shan't disappoint him. No, we shan't. Even now, they toil away at the source. We must save them before it's too late. Just doing one last look for doors. Okay, yeah. Seems there's no one but us for the moment.
There's no one here.
No, there's not.
We took everything from the Roselle. The peace they had is gone. Not even the scent of food or the laughter of children remains. There's nothing left. Coming back here, it has reminded me of the terrible wrong we have done.
My lord, I've spotted the bandits. Looks like Travis and his crew.
I'll make my way over. Let the others know.
They recommend 24. That's what a good majority of my guys are at. Ironically, not Benedict or Roland since I didn't use them that last fight. This could be a good fight for Archie. It's just Medina's a must. Like, if I could use 12, I'd be happy to use these top 12. Let's see what they have first, know whether or not Azan is a must. Party faces off against Travis and his band of thieves so that Jerome and the others have a place to return to someday.
You won't lay a hand on this village. This is the Wolfort domain, and we do not look kindly upon bandits.
Not you guys again!
The feeling is mutual.
Come to arrest us, have you? Or maybe...
Did you come to snatch up the treasure before we could?
No way. They couldn't have the same book as we do, could they?
Shut up, you nitwits! You can't have them finding out about our latest steal from the archives!
Treasure? The archives?
And people say my voice carries. Once we get our hands on you, you're gonna tell us everything you know.
Well, now that you know, we can't very well let you live!
So in case you're wondering, this is how you recruit Travis. The whole gimmick to him is that he can steal stuff. Let me see if I can pull this up. If you didn't kick out the Roselle and you came here, you'd get Trish instead, who's the archer. She can also steal, but I think you have to get close. But yeah, he doesn't even have any, these guys may not have any accessories. I wanted one of the thieves, and I don't know if Trish is really better or not. Do they say anything here? Well, hopefully you realize if you want to get everyone, you're going to have to play the game multiple times. I mean multiple, because what we did with Roselle determines this. Yeah, they don't say anything about it. But still, the backward toss is pretty handy, especially if you're going to fight in the arena or something. 3-turn delay, handy. As for his battle mage, throwing out flames. We're allowed 10 units, and we're not on that side yet. How many bows does he have? Any? Over there. So that's 3. I'd say that's enough to justify Azana. Like, with him you can set up traps or ladders. It's not really much of a speed difference to justify bringing her with, I think.
Understood.
May we return home unharmed.
Really do want to bring Julio to this. I think Granny's gonna be more valuable than him. I already have 2 tanks here. Battle with the Bandit Travis.
Once we've captured you and your crew, you will tell us why you've come here.
A little whelp like you catching us? Ha! Ha! We wouldn't be very good thieves if it were that easy.
Your orders? You won't catch me.
Shall I? For the greater good.
Coming through!
He has almost 600 HP.
Defeat is not an option.
If only there were like a cheap way to set that on fire.
Come at me!
Allow me.
Oops. Dang it. Stop doing that game.
Nowhere to go.
There.
Cyrano could be in trouble right here.
Shall we begin? Make the most of this.
Oh, now that feels good.
I think Rudolph has that ability also. I don't think he's a healer. I think he's the 4th ranged character or something. And if you don't know Rudolph, he was the alternate character to Quarantine you could have gotten in Chapter 3 if you go to Esfrost instead of Hyzant. So we will be picking him up on New Game Plus.
Allow me. For the good of all.
Aye, I'll keep on them.
For a better world.
Now then, to work.
My time is now. A breath from above.
I'm gonna wait 1 turn before going.
I'll do my utmost.
Prepare yourself. You will not strike me.
Hope you're ready. Out of our way! That treasure belongs to us!
He's doing his flip. She could be dead. Aw, man, if only Frederica could go right now.
For the honor of House Wolford.
And now me, my fist struck true.
No need to panic. Time to end this.
I don't pull my
Still
punches.
not enough.
You won't beat me! Come and get me!
Got all three.
What happened to that daughter of yours? Thought you two were joined at the hip.
Stop poking your nose where it don't belong. You've done it now!
Shall we
I was
begin?
hoping the oil wasn't there. Never mind.
Your wounds are healed. I can fight anew.
Where was I?
Come on!
My research bears fruit.
Me too! Me too! The hell?
Of course. So I can sanctuary those two to keep them going.
Let me show you what I've learned.
Nope, I'm better off just doing this.
Please, heed my call. What? Behold true power.
That won't reach, so I'm not even gonna try.
The heavens
This is a
break.
little wasteful because he'd probably kill himself on Eridor's shield.
My quest is one step closer to completion.
Well, Cyrano doesn't do anything anymore. should have tried to poison him, but I'm trying to save points.
For the greater good.
Doing this so I can at least take advantage of the fury. Okay.
Yeah! Me too!
This is barely a scratch. No way am I giving up now.
I admire your tenacity. I take it the treasure here is well worth the effort. Good grief.
You're wide open!
Looks like I'm up.
So it's a 100% shot on that guy.
Here! Back at you!
Yeah, I'm willing to write off Sarah Noah.
For one and all.
Thank you.
It's possible Medina may be able to save him. Don't know or really care at the moment.
Yeah!
I'll take you on! Come and get me!
Got one of them at least.
Look at me learning.
Now then, to work.
Come on! To further the arcane arts.
Me too!
There's enough bows there that can probably kill someone before I even get a turn.
Your orders? Sleep.
And since I saved my points,
Sleep.
Count on me. Here you go. Here you go. Much appreciated. I'm here to help. Allow me. Please, heed my call. My time is now. Stay down.
much needed paralysis on that one.
You've done it now!
Allow me.
Die already!
Looks like I'm up.
Yeah, I don't really see much point using the sticky arrow here.
Impressed?
I'm behind you.
Thank you. I'll make this quick.
My turn. Sound strike. Ha! Sound strike.
Whatever it takes.
Here you go.
Most appreciated. Now then, to work.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about those guys. I'm gonna put down more ice to try to slow the enemy down.
Very well.
You've done it now!
Air door.
Come at me! I'll be your shield!
I got careless.
Yeah, he can take it.
I fight for peace.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
2 ashes.
Shall I? Farewell.
You're wide open!
Back at you. No. Looks like I'm up.
Yep, this is a good one to pick off.
It's nothing personal. I'm only getting started.
So those two have to go up the long way because there's now a wall of fire keeping
Whatever
them
it
at bay.
takes.
go. I feel blessed.
Let's see if I can do it here.
Cool heads shall prevail.
So remember, the TP physic just took effect on Azana, so she actually has an additional TP that she normally
I
wouldn't
shall
have.
use it well.
Your orders?
He will survive with 7 hit points if I do that.
The heavens judge you.
Curse you!
Aw, man. That was a little disappointing. Got a parchment and a medal of valor. Like, there were no other drops, unfortunately. That's heartbreaking.
Come on! I could do this all day.
Just give up already, else I'll have to take your head.
Sorry, but I won't be having either. I ain't even found the treasure yet.
But why go to such lengths for it?
For my girl, Trish.
You mean the young lady who was with you before?
She was forced to live a bandit's life because of me. Sure, we had our share of fun trashing things, but I never noticed till now that she never had a place to call home. That's why I'm getting all the treasure I can lay my hands on. I'm gonna make her a safe place to lay her head at night.
Pretty selfish of you, if you ask me.
You think I don't know that? I know it's selfish, but still, I can't give it up.
Then let's make a deal.
What sort of deal?
We shall pardon you and your kin and allow you to work in the Wolfort domain. But in exchange, would you serve House Wolfort? I would like you to help us find the treasure in this village.
Frederica.
I apologize for deciding this on my own. But if there is treasure to be found here, it may help the Rosellan.
Depending on what we find, it might allow us to aid the Roselle or negotiate with Hyacinth.
And this guy could help us in a fight. Pity he wasted his strength on pillaging, though.
I understand your wishes, Frederica. What say you, Travis?
You want to help the Roselle? Aren't you the ones who turned them over in the first place?
Yes, I know it is selfish, but I too cannot give up.
You got me there. I concede. I'll do whatever you ask if you pardon my daughter and crew. And you have my word that every last one of them will quit the thieving business.
You can't be serious, Pa! Did you really think I'd just accept you devoting yourself to Wolfort for me?
So you heard everything, huh? Then you understand.
Understand what? Wasn't it your dream to become the best thief in Norzelia?
It was, but that time's come and gone. After I became a father, I only dreamed of you living a normal life.
And what about my dreams, huh? I don't want to have to worry about where I came from or how much money I've got. I just want to be free. I want it to be just like you, Pa.
I'm sorry. I was selfish, Trish.
I don't want to hear it, you old fool.
You weren't gonna go after her?
No. She'll understand one day. She's a downright fool, but a good daughter. Now then, let's find us some treasure.
And with that we get Travis, one of the two thief characters of the game. So, utilize Sticky Fingers to steal from enemies, deals damage while picking pockets, and packs powerful offensive abilities. I believe he can also serve as a bit of a tank. So, real quick... we don't have the stats to get one of the secret characters. The deadline for that has actually come and gone, to be perfectly honest, but yeah. So Travis was 26 in that fight, but now he's down to this. His speed is down to 25. So here's Mug. You can see it costs 1, so you can use it every turn. 134 power, which is kind of ridiculous, but yeah. So you have a chance to steal an item. I don't know if it's like a consumable for normal enemies, but you're supposed to be able to steal accessories, which is why I want one of the thieves. And then steal back, we've seen that from Eridor, Fortuitous follow-up. That's just bonus damage on follow-ups, I believe. We will go into the encampment since I can do some upgrades real quick. I'm going to take a break before we go any further though, so just a heads up. We may be able to do a weapon thing because we got a parchment. See, I don't know who uses that, but apparently multiple people do. Anyway, if you wanted to promote Travis, he gets Trial by Fire, which we can't see until level 35. You'll not be seeing that until New Game Plus, folks. Let's see, we have 2 Medals of Valor, so I could get the Shielding Stance. I'm gonna go ahead and get this.
My blade shall attest to my convictions.
Yeah, I really don't like that one. He has to be 23 for this. Can't see Lady Luck yet. I don't see myself using that, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, Frederica's didn't suck. I'd gladly get that one. As is, I think I'm probably just going to give this to Gila so she can cover more ground.
To think I've come this far.
Okay, where's Travis? Here. So we need Oak to upgrade him, but you can see just more power, more hit points, more defense, more magic defense, more luck. It's not until you get to here where you actually get a real choice. Let's go ahead and buy a piece of Oak so that we can upgrade him. Question is, do I want to get the rare thorn so that I can upgrade Anna? So we can increase the damage of Mug or make it cheaper to flip. The flip thing is really tempting. So yeah, they both use parchment. And they both use fiber, so it doesn't really matter. What's going to differ between them is their weapon skill. We'll do Frederica just because she's one of the core cast. So Sunfall, cast for 1 turn, use all TP to deal fire-type damage, setting the ground ablaze, more TP consumed, stronger the attack, usable in battle. So if it takes her a while to walk into the fight, I guess you can just walk in there and nuke everything. The downside, though, is I've been wondering for the longest time what it meant by moves took time to cast. Apparently it's referring to the weapon moves of the mages. It requires the bow. Diamond. Jade. She also needs a bow. Yeah, I'm not too worried about getting a weapon upgrade because I just don't have the materials to do the upgrades themselves. And we used an immobility pellet there. Not sure what Temptation does, but I'll grab a few of these just in case. I could have used these to trigger the oil, but we really didn't even need it in that fight. I didn't even realize that you just had to knock out Travis. That disappoints me a little bit. Lost out on some ability to grind. But yeah, I'm going to take a break before we do these scenes, so I'll be back. Let's do the next side story about Medina.
By the goddess, if it isn't my savior, I am truly in your debt.
I remember you. I treated you at the ministry that day.
I feared it was the end, but thanks to you, I yet live.
I was not alone in treating you. And I'm happy to see you well.
I hear tell the infirmary was overwhelmed that day. How fortunate the other man was a Rosellan. Never have I felt more blessed to belong to the goddess's flock. Praise be the goddess. May her blessings rain upon you.
I do not mean to pry, but was that...
Yes. It is he who survived, at the expense of the Rosellan man's life. Had we treated the Rosellan first, we might have saved them both. But I could not find the courage to disobey orders.
And, in the eyes of the faithful, you acted in accordance with the goddess's teachings. Denying medical treatment to non-believers is certainly one way for the Holy One to breed loyalty amongst Hyzant's subjects.
Be that as it may, if only I'd had the courage of my convictions. The courage to give both their lives equal weight. It
is hard for one drop to alter the current.
So it is. Nevertheless, I wish to try.
Made it in time, my lord.
Eridor, you came.
Lady Destra. Your mother was loved by one and all, my lord. Honoring her this day is the least we can do. Is it just you here, my lord?
We are beset on all sides by tasks large and small. I would not impose my familial obligations on the others.
Spoken like a true leader. Me and your mother may not have been family by blood, but duty bound us just as close.
I am sure she would have been overjoyed to see you by my side. I never had a chance to know her. My only memories are from stories others told me. And still, I somehow can feel the warmth of her embrace, hear the loving sound of her voice.
She was smitten, that is true. She held on to you so tightly, I reckon not even the Dawn Spear could have pried you from her.
Did she?
Lady Destra's smile was brighter than the sun, and near as constant. She treated young Benedict and I like little brothers, though at times we weren't so deserving of her care. Even so, she always had a kind word and worry enough to spare. There weren't a woman like her in all of Norzelia.
I did not know the bond between you three ran so deep. Benedict never mentioned it.
His lips aren't as loose as mine, especially when it comes to Lady Destra. Speaking of which, here. Your mother would have loved to get one of these from you.
A snowbell? My father mentioned her fondness for these flowers. Every year when I visited her, without fail, one of these would be placed in front of her grave. Was that you all this time?
Well, not exactly, my lord.
They're quite rare, are they not? I often search for them, but I have yet to see one in bloom. Where did you find it?
Well, I made a journey down south. Benedict insisted. Apologies for my absence, my lord.
There is naught to apologize for. 'Twas a thoughtful gesture, and I thank you for it. Somehow, I can feel Mother smiling down upon us.
More than I deserve, if I'm being honest.
Huh. There's already a snowbell. Who could have...
Should have known. Nothing will stop him from his duty.
What was that?
It was nothing, my lord. Seems we're not the only ones carrying a torch for Lady Destra.
Indeed. We are fortunate to be part of such a close-knit house. And that is thanks to those who serve it. I trust I'll see you here again in a year's time, Erador.
Of course, my lord. Snowbells might capture a moment in time, but your mother inspired loyalty for an eternity.
So let's take a look for any sort of sub-event. Not seeing anything, so into the Roselle village we go. The book stolen from the archives tells the location of a secret treasure.
So this book is gonna help us find the treasure.
That's right. We found it stuffed into the deepest, darkest recesses of the S. Frosty archives. My thieving senses tell me it'll lead us to incredible treasure.
Esfrost's most confidential information is stored in the archives. There is definitely something of import in there.
Never thought I'd say this, but good steal.
It wasn't easy, but I had to, for Trish. Sadly, it's locked up tight, and trust me, you won't be forcing that thing open.
I see. It's sealed with powerful magic.
Would we need another spell to counter the seal?
There's probably a key that can open it.
I suspected as much. It's probably somewhere in this village.
What makes you say that?
Take a good look at the cover, and you'll see a map of Norzelia.
Indeed, there is. If this is the Norzelia River, then this must be the Wolfort Domain.
In which case, those jewels are right on...
This village.
Exactly. We came here because we thought we'd find a way to open it.
Are you sure it's not just coincidence?
It could be, but if it isn't...
Then the key is in this village. And the treasure in this book must be related to the Roselle.
Then let's search the village. Could I ask you to use your thieving senses to help us look, Travis?
Of course you can. It's what bandits like me do best.
To think we would find such a thing while searching for a key.
I had a taste, and it's salt for sure. So what kind of rock is this?
I do not know. It looks to be a crystal of salt. Or salt crystal, shall we call it?
Even if you condense the salt from the source, it would not take this shape. It must have come from a different place entirely.
Hold it. You mean to say there's salt outside of the source? If that were true, it'd change Norzelia as we know it.
I wonder if the Roselle knew.
I see. That may be why Hyzant imprisoned them at the source. They did it to keep their monopoly on salt.
But what was a book showing its whereabouts doing in Esfrost?
There is someone connecting all three. Esfrost, Hyzant, and the Roselle. My mother, Orlea.
The leader of the Rosellan uprising. She escaped the source and founded this village.
After that, she met the previous Archduke and gave birth to me. Could the key to opening this book be my mother's pendant?
It opened!
So this was my mother's book.
Pray, read it for us, Frederica.
This is a legend handed down by the Roselle since times of old. It is the secret history of Norzelia. I, Orlea Roselle, am recording the legend here as the last keeper of these histories.
In ancient times, the Roselle lived in Centralia, a land to the distant south of Norzelia. It sat on the shore of the sea, a source that extended to the horizon and beyond. It was said to be a paradise, a place where people never wanted for salt. The Roselle knew more about salt than anyone, for it was a part of their everyday lives. In those days, Norzelia still rested at the bottom of the sea, but a cataclysm brought it to the surface, turning it into land. The sea dried up, and the small portion that remained is what we know today as the source. Eventually, many people migrated to the new land of Norzelia. They waged war over the source, wishing to get their hands on its precious salt. Our ancestors came to Norzelia in hopes of putting an end to the fighting. They knew that the salt still remained, even without the sea. It merely crystallized and sank deep into the earth. After all their searching, they unearthed a giant crystal. No, a very pillar of salt. They showed it to the people of Norzelia, told them that salt could be found beneath their very feet. However, those who had seized control over the source sought to reign over all of Norzelia by controlling the salt. They, the holy state of Hyzant, attacked and slaughtered the Roselle. They hid the pillar, erased the existence of salt crystals, and imprisoned the surviving Roselle at the source. Thus we were branded sinners, criminals who wanted sole dominion over the land's salt. To justify their own monopoly, Hyzant created the goddess's teachings. But she needed a villain. To this very day, the Roselle are scorned, made to shed blood and tears, all in her name. But the goddess herself is proof of the Rosellan legends. I saw it with my own eyes during the uprising. Inside of her statue is the pillar of salt that was taken from our ancestors. But I could not expose the truth of the goddess. It took everything I had just to get a fragment. But that piece is the key to freeing the Roselle. It must be. For my brethren who continue to suffer for a crime they did not commit.
Diary of Orlea added to notes.
The Holy State's teachings are false. The goddess's blessing spread across all Norzelia. The blessing of the true goddess. The blessing that shall be the key to the chains that bind our people.
Jerome spoke these words before. Lady Orlea's words.
Yes. The blessing my mother spoke of was the salt crystal.
And the false teachings referred to salt existing outside the source. It would be the key to ending Hyzant's monopoly on salt. This has the power to change Norzelia as we know it, but it is not something we can recklessly proclaim.
But I cannot forgive Hyzant. They rewrote history with their false doctrines and continue to oppress the Roselle, all to maintain their power over salt. Serenoa, do you think we could free the Roselle with this information?
We would need conclusive evidence. Right now, all we have is a salt crystal. We would not be able to prove that more salt lies beneath the earth, or even the truth of the goddess's statue.
I don't care how much time it takes. Can we not find out the truth?
House Wolfford is currently under the banner of Hyzant. We may be branded as rebels if the Holy State deems our actions as defiance of the goddess.
I know it is a reckless request, but my mother has given us a chance with this book. I cannot simply let it pass me by.
I understand how you feel, and the responsibility of House Wolfford to the Roselle. Please give me some time to think, Frederica.
Of course. I believe in House Wolfford. And in you, Serenoa.
I should like to speak to Benedict and Roland about the book as well. Let us return to the capital.
In the wake of a dream completed. So I think we may have found out what's down in the mine that someone's trying to cover up, and what's the fallout, you ask? Well,
Roland, Benedict, and Frederica regroup back in the capital. But what they experienced while they were away could very well alter the course of destiny itself.
Chapter 15, Part 3, Fate.
What is so important you wish to speak to me alone?
Lord Serenoa, promise me you will remain calm. I come bearing grave news. Your Lord Father has passed.
What? But how? I thought he was recovering.
It was not the illness that took him, my lord. He was assassinated.
Assassinated?
Forgive me. I was unable to stop the villain.
Who would send someone to kill my father? And why?
It was Patriot of the Royalists. He believes House Wolford a hindrance to King Roland's rule. No doubt he meant to kill both you and your father in one fell swoop.
A hindrance? Pray tell me Roland was not involved in this plot.
I can assure you His Majesty knew nothing of this. But disclosing the truth would put us in a precarious position. At worst, it could lead to civil war. It is best you hide the fact of Lord Simon's assassination.
You want me to say he succumbed to his illness? How can I pay respect to my father with such lies on my lips?
My lord, your father entrusted me with one final order.
What did he say?
He asked me to tell you the truth.
The truth about what?
I ask you to listen calmly, my lord. You are not Lord Simon's son by blood. Your true father is King Regna. His Majesty sired a child out of wedlock with the Lady Destra. That child is you. Lady Destra lived in the Crown City, but she was not a woman of means. Someone of her position could never hope to marry a king. Or indeed keep her head once the Royalists discovered what had happened. Lord Simon knew this, and so he welcomed her and the baby in her belly to House Wolford. He and I were the only two who knew her secret. We had intended to carry it with us to our graves. But in his last moment, Lord Simon bade me give this to you.
The royal signet of Glenbrook.
King Regna entrusted it, and you, to Lord Simon, as proof of your place in the royal line.
Is this truly who I am?
I know it may be difficult to accept.
No, I believe it. I have never known you to speak false to me. Thank you for telling me what my father wished me to know.
You would still call him father?
He raised me as his own. And besides, I must keep up the pretense in front of the others. Especially in front of Roland. This stays between us, Benedict. We must keep the truth of my parentage and this ring safe.
Of course, my lord. As you command.
And now we have Benedict back. Like, as much as I hate to say, like, I'm not really connected to any of the characters. These, truth bombs, or we're gonna call them, don't really carry as much weight.
Is there something on your mind, Roland?
Serenoa, I do not know what I should do.
Did something happen in the capital?
No, that problem has been dealt with. I've made sure those damned royalists will never cause trouble again.
Was such harsh punishment truly necessary?
Of course it was. When they should have been helping to rebuild the kingdom, they instead profited off the people's hardship. And on top of that, they sought to string me up as their puppet king.
I understand, but...
You know what they told me? They said that is what Glenbrook truly is. That it must be ruled with the royalists' careful mediation between the royal family and their loyal subjects. They said good kings need not think for themselves. They said my father and my brother understood that.
Even if that is true, you have the power to change it.
I tried. That is the entire reason I took the throne. But nothing has changed. No matter how many corrupt aristocrats I've cast out. This kingdom has always been broken. As Frost's invasion just ensured we could never put the pieces back together. I do not have the strength to reconcile a land and people torn apart by hatred and greed. I cannot give Glenbrook what it needs, king though I may be.
Roland.
Apologies, my friend. I should not burden you with my woes.
You burden me with nothing. But if you are struggling...
All is well. Trust me. So long as you are by my side.
And we have Roland back.
That is the extent of what happened during our various endeavors. The passing of my Lord Father, the Royalist scandal, and the book that revealed the truth about the Roselle and the Salt. It is time we consider what we shall do to overcome these obstacles facing us.
I still cannot believe how quickly Lord Simon's condition worsened.
It is most devastating. Serenoa, did your father say nothing else to you? Before he...
He bade me lead House Wolfort well.
I see. Then we must all do what we can to help you honor that request.
Your Majesty, what do you plan to do about the Royalists who misappropriated supplies?
As far as I've been able to discern, those involved acted out of greed and self-interest. They must all be punished. Nothing less than exile from the kingdom or execution will suffice.
But there are those among them who support the Glenbrook line. Will that not impact your governance?
Perhaps. But to pardon their crimes would kindle the people's ire. We must make an example of them. To appease the people. To make clear the consequences of engaging in such foolhardy behavior.
Did something else happen in the capital, King Roland?
Nothing you need concern yourself with. But I must say, I was shocked to learn of that Rosellan legend. Do you suppose the contents of that book could be true?
The part about their homeland, Centralia, that sits upon a vast saltwater sea? That of the untapped salt crystals beneath Norzelia? Or that, in order to monopolize the salt trade, Hyzant fabricated the Roselle's sins? That the pillar of salt Hyzant stole from the Roselle is hidden within the statue of the goddess? If any of it is true, it would turn everything we know on its head. It would mean the teachings of the Holy State are not but lies.
If you still doubt whether it is true, perhaps it will be quicker if I showed you.
A pink rock? No.
A salt crystal. I found it hidden in the Rosellan village. It is a fragment from the pillar within the statue of the goddess. One my mother obtained during the uprising.
It fits perfectly.
Apparently, Lady Orlea penned the book detailing the legend for Frederica.
She did. She enchanted it so no one could open it, but left me the key to break the spell. This pendant.
I doubt a mother would go to such lengths to lie to her daughter.
Then we agree the legend contains at least a seed of truth.
Your Majesty, we have received word that the survivors of the Duchy's army are amassing.
What? Where?
At the Grand Norzellian mines. But we cannot be sure what they are doing. None of our scouts have returned.
These frosty dogs. We will speak later, Serenoa. First, we must put down whatever the Duchy is planning at the mines. I need you and your people beside me.
Of course. We shall ready ourselves for the battle at once.
Meanwhile, inside the mines...
Extraction is nearly finished. We've secured the amount we were told. Seems such a waste to just leave the rest.
Don't think Archduke Gustadolf gives two shites. Hurry it up. We need to be done here before Glenbrook catches on to us.
Sir.
And that's the end of the chapter. So I'm going to have to combine this with the previous one, just like I did for chapter 14. I don't really get the whole point of these 10-minute chapters, but yeah. So, may as well just save over this one, because did we even get to see the map or anything? Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.